First introduced to the flying public by Eastern Airlines in January, and then by American Airlines a few days later, Lockheed's prop jet Electra has been building an impressive record of service during its first few months of operation, offering time-saving schedules on 3 continents: North America, Australia, and the Far East. American Airlines inaugurated Electra flight on one of this country's busiest routes, between cosmopolitan New York and the renowned metropolis of Chicago. On the first return trip to New York, the Electra covered the 710 miles in 1 hour 41 minutes, chopping an hour and 14 minutes from all former schedules. On the initial export delivery from the factory to Australia, Ansett ANA made flight history, logging the 2,565 miles from Los Angeles to Honolulu in 6 hours, 13 minutes, almost 2 hours better than existing airline schedules. By the end of July, over 70 of these prop jet transports were delivered to a total of 9 different world airlines, extending Electra flight service to many corners of the globe. Burbank, California, birthplace of the Electra. Born as the practical answer to an urgent airline need for a modern short to medium range transport, this flexible turboprop has been proving equally economical on longer range flights. Such versatility is the result of careful analysis and exacting design, guided and augmented by the airlines themselves to produce the right jet-age power and airframe package. A quick trip down the factory line reveals girder-strong assemblies, incorporating Lockheed's fail-safe structural design used throughout Electra construction. This design principle assures complete flying safety, reducing stress levels upon the airframe in such a manner that failure of any single element will not affect the structural integrity of the aircraft. 3,750 horsepower is packed into each one of these Allison prop jet engines. Known as Model 501-D13, they can lift a fully loaded Electra to 15,000 feet in 10 minutes. Characterized by high power-to-weight ratio, small frontal area, and low fuel consumption, this truly efficient power package is expected to accumulate 2 million operational hours by the end of this year. The Electra power and airframe combination bears the same mark of Lockheed quality, which has put more than 30,000 aircraft in the skies over the past 27 years. Early in November 1957, the first Electra emerged from the production line to be readied for her maiden flight. A few weeks later, on December 6th, the big day had arrived, 6 weeks ahead of schedule. Hundreds of Lockheed employees and anxious pilots had waited for this event. the beginning of Electra flight. Months of concentrated flying, and she was declared airworthy by the Federal Aviation Agency. August 22nd, 1958. 5 weeks ahead of schedule. Now she was ready to make her debut to the world in one of the most extensive pre-service demonstrations ever conducted. Undertaken in association with General Motors' Allison Division, manufacturer of her turbine engines, the tour spanned United States, Canada, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, establishing a new non-stop record from Istanbul, Turkey to New Delhi, India. 3,220 miles in 7 hours, 55 minutes. 4.5 hours better than the fastest scheduled airline. Though flown under maximum performance conditions, often by unfamiliar crews, few delays and an impressive maintenance record marked this rugged Electra test, covering 8 weeks, 150 hours, 52,000 miles, and demonstrations to over 3,000 guest passengers. Patterned after actual airline operations, the Electra undeniably proved herself to the world. She was ready to become the prop jet workhorse of today's vast network of airlines. As a proud parent guides a bright young child's career, Lockheed continues to develop and improve this modern transport. Early in airline service, noise and vibration had an unusual characteristic, remaining low during takeoff and climb, though maximum power was being used, and becoming an annoyance only at high speeds and relatively low altitudes. Flight tests determined that the angle of air meeting the propeller blades in this particular flight condition caused propeller stresses and pressures against the side of the fuselage, resulting in a relative increase in cabin noise and vibration. Once the principal cause was determined, a remedy was obvious. By tilting the nacelle upward 3 degrees, air would now meet the propeller blades in an optimum manner, so that loads would be more uniform rather than cyclic. Angle of the nacelles was then changed on a production model and thoroughly flight tested. Results were very gratifying. Vibration levels throughout the cabin were reduced considerably. With these refinements, the Electra's constant speed turbine power now produces a smooth, quiet ride, attested to by guest passengers and airline executives who have flown in the modified version. Electras presently in service are being modified to incorporate this design refinement. Within the first few months of airline operation, 90% of all service problems were eliminated. A credit to Lockheed's strategically stationed field service representatives and a vast inventory of spare parts. And how has the Electra been accepted since airline operations began? More than half of American Airlines first-class passengers between New York and Chicago, as well as between New York and Detroit, are specifying Electra flight. En route passengers remaining aboard at intermediate stops, as well as new passengers boarding during hot weather, enjoy the Electra's unique Freon cooling system, independent of any ground equipment. Even moderate temperatures prevail regardless of weather extremes on the ground or in the air. Airport and community noise levels are the lowest of any modern transport in existence, according to extensive tests conducted by the New York Port Authority. The Electra has been proving faster doorknob to doorknob than any other plane because it can use airports close in to large metropolitan areas when a choice of airports is available. Less time is spent in ground travel, coming and going to airports at a considerable distance from the downtown areas. As air traffic volume increases, this Electra advantage will become even more and more significant. Quick turnarounds permit less time on the ground, save countless maintenance hours, and allow better schedule dependability with brisk getaways. On-time departures during the first 3 months averaged a creditable 95% for all airline operators. Eastern Airlines, within this same period, averaged better than 8 hours daily utilization. When all 40 of their Electras are in scheduled service, they expect to increase this to 10 hours daily. Passengers are really impressed when the Electra beats its own flight schedule, a frequent occurrence on the New York to Miami run. Overwhelming public support has proved this Lockheed prop jet the ideal airliner for Australia. Newspaper advertisements boasted this record. Regularly, Ansett ANA bettered the fastest flight schedules on the Melbourne-Sydney route by 35%. During the first 3 weeks of operation, the Electra profit record mounted to $4,000 a day with only one airplane. Utilization exceeded 10 hours a day, and the average load factor exceeded 80%. The traveling public waited for and are now demanding Electra flight. Watch for more records, greater schedule flexibility, and frequency with an increase in flying travelers as Trans-Australia extends Electra service. Followed by Qantas, and then Tasman Empire Airlines later this year. The Federal Aviation Agency approved a 1,000-gallon increase in landing weight fuel limits. An Electra Extra, proving extremely valuable in minimizing or eliminating en route refueling on many flights. 4,000 gallons are now permitted aboard on landing. One of the Electra's optional features, proving very popular, are these integral automatic stairs. No delay, no waiting for ramps or for luggage with these carry-on racks. Fast getaways upon arrival are routine with Electra flight. When refueling is necessary, the single-point system cuts time for this procedure to minutes. Another operational bonus. The Federal Aviation Agency approved extension of time before engine overhaul to 1,000 hours after adequate samplings had been made at 600 and 800-hour intervals. This extended time between engine overhaul allows over 300,000 miles of continuous operation, with substantial increases expected within the near future. Developed and produced for a long, hard life of profitable service, the Electra has been proving itself a classic airplane within this short span of airline service. Her performance has been confirmed by these notable quotes.
The Electra, with its big load, speed, and capability for using almost any airport, anywhere, is going to be a breadwinner.
It was as spacious and comfortable as any aircraft I've ever ridden in. Air conditioning and heating systems are excellent.
No doubt about it, they're definitely disappointed when they ask for an Electra and it's sold out. And so, many of the world's most discriminating airlines have confidently chosen the Electra, the profit liner in today's fleet of jet transports, rapidly becoming an international favorite in man's new age of mobility. And this is only the beginning of Electra jet service throughout the world.